All right, it is 6 p.m. and I'm gonna call this meeting to get started. If everyone can join me to do our flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. And Stephen, if you could do the roll call, please.
Yes, Chair. Commissioner Amon?
Here.
Commissioner Christensen?
Here.
Commissioner Halley?
Here.
Vice Chair Nichols?
Here.
Chair Kine?
Here. Okay. Thank you, Stephen. We will move on to oral comments from the public. If there's anybody in the gallery who would like to speak, please come up to the podium now. If not, I will go to see if anybody is on Zoom.
There is no one online, Chair.
Okay. And seeing that nobody in the chamber wishes to speak, I will close public comment and move on to our next item of business, which is the reorganization of the Planning Commission, nominations for both chair and vice chair. So I will open nominations up for chair starting first. If anybody would like to make nominations or would like to present themselves as a possible chair, we'll let them speak.
I would like to nominate Commissioner Nichols for chair.
Is there anybody for a second?
I'll second that.
Okay. Any discussion? All right, I will open up for public comment if anyone would like to speak in the chamber or online.
No one online, Chair.
Okay. Closing public comment, I would then ask for a roll call vote for Ms. Nichols to be the new chair for the commission.
Commissioner Amon?
Yes.
Commissioner Christensen?
Yes.
Commissioner Halley?
Yes.
Vice Chair Nichols?
Yes.
Chair Kine?
Yes. Congratulations. Then moving on for nomination for vice chair, I will open up anybody who would like to do nominations or suggest themselves.
I would like to nominate Commissioner Amon for vice chair.
I will second that.
Do you accept?
I'll accept.
Okay. Is there anybody else who would like to make any nominations? No? I will open up for public comment, anybody in the gallery or into online.
There is no one online, Chair Kine.
Okay. Then I will close public comment and ask for a roll call vote.
Commissioner Amon?
Yes.
Commissioner Christensen?
Yes.
Commissioner Halley?
Yes.
Vice Chair Nichols?
Yes.
Chair Kine?
Yes. Congratulations.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
apparently so. All right. Well, that was nice and quick. I love that. All right. Well, congratulations to both of you. And starting, I guess, next
Next is
Give me a meeting, you'll be able to have this power. Okay. So then, moving on to the next item of business, it is the consent calendar from our meeting from December 12th, 2025, the draft planning commission minutes. Hope everybody had a chance to review them, and I'll ask for a motion to accept the minutes.
Motion to approve.
I'll second.
Aye.
All in favor?
Sorry.
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, hearing none. All right, thank you very much. Our next item of business, we will go to the current business, which is a resolution of the Planning Commission of the City of Fortuna recommending the City Council make the required findings to adopt amendments to Title 17, the zoning regulations of the Fortuna Municipal Code to amend accessory dwelling unit regulations to comply with state law and the finding project exempt from California Environmental Quality Act, Resolution P-2026-3142. And I'll hand it over to Staff? Thank you very much.
Thank you. Michelle Nielsen, contract planner for the City of Fortuna, assisting with the long-range planning services for the city with the Plan West Partners. And so we do have a little short presentation on this agenda item. Walk through this, if I can get, there we go. So as indicated, this is an agenda item to repeal and replace the city's existing accessory dwelling unit regulations to a recommendation to the city council, since it would be an amendment to the zoning regulations, the text of the amendments. No map amendments are part of this agenda item. There's no changes there. So, so a bit of background, the City of Fortuna adopted its, I see I have a date wrong in here, but the City of Fortuna adopted its existing accessory dwelling unit and junior accessory dwelling unit ordinance in 2021 in November. And that was beginning in about 2017. The state of California, the legislature has enacted numerous updates to housing law, especially for accessory dwelling units. They were formerly referred to as secondary dwelling units. They're also commonly referred to as granny flats and whatnot. But since the city's accessory dwelling unit ordinance was adopted in 2021, the state has amended state accessory dwelling unit law 2023, 2024, and 2025. Then in 2020, they published an accessory dwelling unit handbook, it's written by the state of California Department of Housing and Community Development. It essentially is an interpretive guidebook, how you apply state accessory dwelling unit law for cities, counties, property owners, developers. So that accessory dwelling unit handbook has also been updated twice since the city adopted its accessory dwelling unit ordinance in 2021. HCD, the Department of Housing and Community Development, they've had the authority to review cities' accessory dwelling unit ordinances since 2016, and that the level of review, their legal authority to review local ordinances for compliance with state ADU law has been elevated was elevated in 2024, and they now have the authority to enforce all state accessory dwelling unit laws. And the way that's coming about, HCD is proactively, I'm not quite sure how they're finding everybody's accessory dwelling unit law ordinances, but they are going through and older accessory dwelling unit cities with older accessory dwelling unit ordinances. They are sending them letters of technical assistance and advising if their accessory dwelling unit ordinance has not been updated recently, then it's going to be out of compliance with state law, because there have been so many updates, and their state law is the minimum. You can have a more, further encourage accessory dwelling units by your local ordinance, but you cannot be more restrictive in your allowance for accessory dwelling units. So they're proactively sending jurisdictions letters and advising them that if their ordinance is hasn't been updated, then the whole entire ordinance is null and void, not just portions of it, and they're to be directly applying state ADU law, and then they should, they're recommending that local ordinances be repealed to avoid property owners and applicants from consulting out-of-date ordinances and maybe designing a project based on those out-of-date ordinances. So they're recommending that they be repealed. It's probably a little stronger than that if it's non-compliant. So Fortunas haven't been updated, so the regulations are out of compliance. And so the proposed amendments would avoid this confusion. It would void potential enforcement action, if it got to that, with the state by repealing it and replacing it with language that would just directly reference the relevant sections of the government code. And then another benefit would avoid the improper risk or denial of accessory dwelling unit applications, because there's very specific timelines as well, and standards of review, so there's, so there's, I have all, yeah, there's 4 sections, red line changes, we'll go through those. So the city's existing ADU regulations are chaptered in 1706, so the proposal is to just repeal that entire section and just add a section, like a sentence. I have it on the next slide. And then update the definition of dwelling unit in the short-term rental regulations, update the definition of dwelling unit, second residential, to provide a clear distinction between second dwelling units, which are essentially non-conforming accessory dwelling units, but they can continue, and they could be used potentially as a short-term rental, whereas an accessory dwelling unit cannot. And then just a update in the section of the municipal code that references the statutory statute of, so the reference is correct. So this slide just shows that it doesn't show obviously all the deletions, but this would be the replacement text, deleting all the text that is in this section, that is because it's non-compliant and there's not a separate, you can't separate out the pick and choose what sections apply. It's either, it's black and white, either it complies or it doesn't. So the proposal here is to insert this new text that just directly references the California Government Code, so folks know where to look. We have another client who did actually receive a letter, and so as part of the process of working with HCD, we advised HCD this is what we were proposing to do. We saw there was a city of La Puente in Southern California. This is what they were proposing to do, and HCD advised that that was, for our other client, that was satisfactory. So we feel confident that this approach would be satisfactory to HCD. It will have to be submitted to HCD. This change will get their blessing, because that is another requirement, but we feel this will address the immediate concern. And then as far as the definition of dwelling unit in the short-term rental, I got just things all over the place here, so it's a little hard to read. Just to distinguish, to remove the references to accessory dwelling units, to make them reference second residential units or secondary residential units, and there's a corresponding change in the definition to second residential unit that we'll go over. And then in the staff report, there's a little chart that I put together so that that walks through the differences between the two, so that, and it shows that the already written in the short-term rental ordinance, for a short-term rental, the minimum rental period is less than 30 days. And for ADUs, JADUs, the shortest rental term would be not less than 30 days. So there's not a conflict. So folks who have a short-term rental through the city's process, there should not be an issue with this change in the definition. There's not. So this, and then the last sentence, or last part of the definition just adds to the list of what is not a short-term rental are the city-approved hotels, motels, bed and breakfast, and accessory dwelling units, and junior accessory dwelling units. And then in Chapter 1708, the changes here are for the definition of dwelling second residential. So this would be those units that were granny flats constructed or installed prior to January 1st, 2017, that has not been permitted as an accessory dwelling unit and is located or placed on a parcel of land in the residential estates or residential single-family zoning districts. So those would be, basically they were permitted and they can continue. They could be used in, they could be used as short-term rental if they meet all the other requirements, of course, but to kind of distinguish them. Because there's also provisions in state accessory dwelling unit law that if for unpermitted units, like you can actually cities are required to provide pathways for those to become permitted as accessory dwelling units. So there's no way to permit a secondary residential unit now, but you can actually permit an accessory dwelling unit. But hopefully that makes sense. And then the statutory references, doesn't have a section number, but it's in the municipal code. They rechaptered it, so just to update that, so people get to scrolling on and find that they are looking at the right section of the government code. And then as far as CEQA goes, fortunately, it's well covered. There is, under the Public Resources Code, a statutory exemption for the adoption of ordinances that implement ADU law, a statutory exemption. And then, belt and suspenders is always a good practice with your California Environmental Quality Act exemptions. Construction of and conversion of small accessory structures are categorically exempt. But there's a statutory exemption, so there's good coverage. And a lot of cities are using that, needless to say. And as far as the public hearing notice, it was published in the January 1st edition, North Coast Journal, and then actually before Christmas, December 17th, the notice was posted at City Hall on the city's website. This is a citywide ordinance change, so there was not the city didn't have a requirement to notice all the property owners, but rather to do the newspaper and the posting notices. And so the findings to approve are that it's in compliance with CEQA, it's in the public interest, amendments are consistent with the general plan, and which this would implement the housing element and other policies for housing, and it's consistent with the Fortuna zoning regulations and other provisions of the Fortuna code. And staff recommends that believes all those findings can be made as documented in the staff report. So staff's recommendation is open public hearing and receive any public comment. And of course, I'd be happy to answer any questions, and recommend the motion and adoption of resolution P 2025-3142 or 2026, I think. I think I have the wrong resolution number on there. Whoopsie. Yes, I think I do. Yes, it's 2026-3142. I forgot to change the one number. So,
Thank you, Miguel. Appreciate it. Does anybody have any questions for staff?
Yeah, I have a couple of questions. Supposedly, we have a lot of subdivisions that are within the Fortuna area, and those subdivisions have a lot of CC&Rs that limit, that require no secondary units. My understanding is Newsom changed the law on that. And so is that included in all of this?
that would be, it's my understanding those CC&Rs, there was the law was changed that those aren't.
They're not valid.
They're not valid, yeah.
Yeah. And then when you say that an unpermitted one that is on property now, and in the course of real estate, we run into that quite a bit. So the path forward for somebody to permit that unit, is it going to be costly, or is it, because a lot of times they were built, they'll have to pass certain standards, I'm sure. And would it be the standards at the time that they were constructed, or would there be new standards, or is this something we haven't even thought of yet? So, thank you.
So, looking through the ADU manual, I mean, I've scanned through that section. It didn't seem to get into those details, but I wasn't really reading it that closely. Whether, I think some of the provisions, like if sprinklers were not required for the primary unit, that would extend to legalizing that ADU. But you do have to meet like the basic, public health and safety standards to meet code. Now, whether it's when it was built or current code, that I don't know, which that would be. I'm not sure if Katie, she looks,
Well, we have the building official here, so he could probably speak to.
Thank you, Gary. Thank you for
what-
coming up.
What codes would be required.
Is it on?
Yes.
Yep, just waiting to be invited. If we have a structure that's something that's built like an ADU, and it was not permitted back then, and we're trying to get it permitted today, it has to follow by today's codes. If we find out it's today, we go by the codes that have been adopted in, right then. We don't go back to the old stuff. So, yeah, if they change any kind of fire rating or whatever, we have to bring it into it.
So does that mean if sprinklers are required now, we would have to put sprinklers in?
If a house has sprinklers and you decide to build an ADU, it does not require sprinklers. If the house has sprinklers, the ADU requires sprinklers. Now, the caveat, the change that what I just said, where it's not exactly true, is when it becomes a manufactured residence. Those that are manufactured, which is an old trailer, kind of comes on in, those right there, those are exempt from having sprinklers in them. I don't know why they haven't brought it on board, but California has not adopted and made them do that.
Thank you.
Now, there's a difference between manufactured and modular. Modular is built to building code standards in a building, brought on a trailer, brought over, stacked into place. Those are building codes. Those are a true 100% building as per title or regular building codes, and so those do require that. That's just a little clarification.
Thank you, Gary.
All right? Anything else?
Okay. Is there anybody else who would like to ask any questions before I take it for open public comment? Okay. Well, then at this moment, I will open public comment. If there's anybody in the gallery who would like to speak, please come up to the dais. And then seeing none, I'll check to see if there's anybody online.
There's no one online, Chair Kine.
All right, then I will close public comment and then bring it back to the commission to see if anybody has any other follow-up questions. And if not, I will look for a motion.
I'll make a motion to adopt Resolution P 2026-3142.
I'll second the motion.
Resolution P-2026-3142, a resolution of the Planning Commission of the City of Fortuna recommending the City Council make the required findings to adopt amendments to Title 17, the zoning regulations of the Fortuna Municipal Code, to amend accessory dwelling unit regulations to comply with state law and finding the project exempt from the California Environmental Quality Act. Commissioner Amon?
Yes.
Commissioner Christensen?
Yes.
Commissioner Halley?
Yes.
Vice Chair Nichols?
Yes.
Chair Kine?
Yes. Thank you, Stephen.
Of course, thank you.
And then our next order of business is a resolution of the Planning Commission, City of Fortuna, approving a variance to allow a reduced setback of an existing structures, a lot line adjustment between assessor parcel number 200-071-030 and assessor parcel number 200-071-017, in certifying compliance with the California Environmental Quality Act, resolution number P-2026-3143.
And for the record, Chair Kine, Commissioner Christensen is recusing herself since she is personally related to the applicant.
Okay, thank you. Okay, and then I'll hand this over to Katie.
Thank you, Chair Kine. we are going to go over the variance and lot line adjustment for the parcel located at 1125 Angel Heights Drive, currently owned by Bryce Lester, who is here in attendance. We'll start with a little background of the project. In 2018, the Planning Commission approved a parcel map for a minor subdivision of the subject parcel, and then subsequently an extension to the recordation of the map was approved in 2020. That applicant did submit a Mylar, but it was ultimately never recorded. As part of that project, the owner had planned to construct a 3-bedroom, single-family residence and a detached dwelling, accessory dwelling unit on the newly created single-family parcel. The previous owner then was directed to reapply for a new subdivision in June of 2025 because of the age of the Mylar and subsequent lapse in time between the Mylar's creation and the recordation. At that time, staff determined that the structural encroachment, there was a structural encroachment noted on the map, as noted in the staff report, and staff determined that that would need to be corrected prior to the recordation of any new minor subdivision parcel map to bring that into conformance and for safety and maintenance purposes. During this application process, the property was sold in September 2025. So that brings us to present-day current development. The new owner, Bryce Lester, does wish to proceed with a minor subdivision and the future residential development of the vacant parcel. He has plans to construct some single-family residence and potentially an ADU, I believe. We'll let him speak to that. In order to proceed with the subdivision and correction of the structural encroachment onto the neighboring parcel, Mr. Lester has applied for a variance to allow for a reduced setback and also a lot line adjustment to give that buffer space behind the existing structure for safety and maintenance purposes. We'll start with the variance. We'll go over that first. And you can see in this graphic, there is a line of redwood trees that are on the adjoining parcel that create a screen between the residential development on the adjoining parcel and the subject parcel. Those trees are owned by the owners of the adjoining parcel, and they would like to maintain ownership of that tree line to provide some screening in perpetuity. Therefore, the applicant has requested a variance to reduce the required setback from the 15 feet to 5 feet. That would allow for a buffer, a safety area, maintenance area. There is a note in the staff report. I did have it listed as a 25 feet required, but there is an overlay on that parcel, so it's actually, the requirement is only 15 feet, so it would be a reduction of 15 feet to 5 feet to accommodate that tree line. The rest of this parcel does meet the required setbacks. The front setbacks and the rear setbacks are required to be 20 feet to the front and 5 feet to the sides, and the existing structure does meet those, as well as the required coverage for the R110 zone. We'll go over the lot line adjustment next. It's a very basic lot line adjustment. The current state of the parcels is parcel 1 is a 1.72 acre parcel. Parcel 2 is a 0.54 acre parcel. You'll note on this plot plan, there's some additional information. There is a notation for a proposed parcel and an associated property line. Those are not part of this project. Those will be part of the future subdivision if these two projects are approved. The lot line adjustment will add 1,377 square feet to parcel 2, resulting in measurement of 1.6 acres for parcel 1, and parcel 2 will measure at 0.57 acres. And as mentioned, that will correct the structural encroachment of the existing structure and create the 5-foot safety and maintenance buffer. The required finding analysis pursuant to zoning regulations section 17.07.070, section C. A variance may be granted only upon determination that all of the following conditions are present, that there are exceptional or extraordinary circumstances applying to the property involved, that owing to such exceptional or extraordinary circumstances, the level of enforcement of these provisions would result in practical difficulty or unnecessary hardship, and that the variance will not constitute a grant of special privilege inconsistent with limitations imposed on similarly zoned properties. And as noted in the resolution and the required findings, the project does meet all of those criteria. As for the lot line adjustment pursuant to zoning regulation section 16.56.01, section B, the Planning Commission may approve a lot line adjustment when it finds that the lot line adjustment does not violate existing codes and policies. The lot line adjustment will not create difficult or unreasonable access to parcels. The lot line adjustment would not require variances to permit standard development, and I will note that the variance that is being requested is not for any future standard development, so the variance would not be required for future development, just to alleviate the structural encroachment. And the utilities and public services can be provided to the revised parcels. As far as CEQA, the project is exempt from the California Environmental Quality Act, section 15305, exemption 5, subsection A, for minor alterations in land use limitations, including minor lot line adjustments not resulting in the creation of any new parcel. And this lot line adjustment will not create a new parcel. Recommended commission action: receive the staff presentation, review commission questions, open public hearing, receive public comment, close the public hearing, and make a motion to adopt resolution P-2026-3143, a resolution of the Planning Commission of the City of Fortuna approving a variance to allow reduced setback of existing structures, a lot line adjustment between assessor parcel number 200-071-030 and assessor parcel number 200-071-017, and certifying compliance with California Environmental Quality Act. And that's my presentation. Thank you, Planning Commission.
All right, thank you, Katie. Does anybody have any questions currently? Hearing none, okay. I did have one question for staff. Katie, so you had said that there was currently a structure that was not allowed, hence the variance is being required?
The structure.
Or wasn't approved?
The structure was constructed in 1945 and was constructed at and potentially over the property line. So in order to.
I was just looking for the date, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, there you go,
1945,
okay.
yes.
All right. Okay, that was pretty much, that answered my question, so perfect. Okay, so seeing nobody having any questions, I will open up, or first I'll see if the current applicant is here, if they would like to make any statements. You're more than welcome to come up if you have anything you would like to stay. If not, that's quite all right as well. But
Katie.
okay, great, okay. In that case, I will open up public comment. Anybody in the gallery who would like to speak, please come up to the podium.
Evening. I'm John Egan. My wife and I are the owners of the parcel that needs to be adjusted into, so 017. We bought the property in probably 1998, and at that time there was still the same structure that Bryce has just purchased, and it was pretty blighted at that point. Still has been for the last 28 years, I'd say. So in probably 2000, we planted a row of redwood trees to kind of hide it from our home. So that's been up there ever since. Didn't really know. We knew where our fence line was and probably figured that was the property line, so there was no disputes at that time with the other owner. So we're just thrilled that after, almost 28 years, that Bryce has come forward and is fixing that house and putting in maybe something else in the other end of it. So we're totally open to a lot line adjustment and granting that to him to make this work.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And Stephen, is there anybody currently online?
I have no one online, Chair, but I do have one written comment, if
Okay,
I may
thank you.
please read it.
Yes, please.
Thank you. It says, "Dear Planning Commission members, we are residents on Angel Heights Drive, 1136. We have resided in our house for 43 years. We have very much enjoyed the peace and tranquility of the neighborhood. Having raised our kids along with other children in the neighborhood, it has been an amazing place to live. The one major advantage of Angel Heights is that it is a dead-end street. As of now, there is not a great deal of traffic. If there are to be new dwellings built in the area, we are concerned with increased traffic. When it was proposed a few years back, it was noted that the top of Angel Heights Hill is too narrow. The traffic that is now present includes a county school bus and a senior bus driving up and down the hill twice. Not to mention recology trucks. There is real visual impairment to oncoming vehicles coming up and down the hill. It can be a little intimidating meeting one of those vehicles when on the street. We suggest you make it a point to come and view the situation for yourself. Thank you, Jim and Francine Riza." And that's the only public comment we've received.
Thank you, Stephen. I will close public comment and then bring it back to the commission if they have any other questions. I did have one. Angel Heights Road is a city-maintained road,
Yes.
but there is no new dwellings that are currently being proposed at
Not
this
correct.
moment.
Potentially post-subdivision that has been, but not, it would be only a two-parcel subdivision, so there wouldn't be any extensive development.
Yeah, okay, and we don't take that into account at this point anyway. So, okay, well then, if anybody doesn't have any other questions, I'll look for a motion.
I will move to adopt Resolution P 2026-3143.
I'll second that.
Stephanie will second that. All right, roll call vote, please.
Resolution P-2026-3143, a resolution of the Planning Commission of the City of Fortuna approving a variance to allow reduced setbacks of existing structures, a lot line adjustment between assessor parcel number 200-071-030 and assessor parcel number 200-071-017, and certifying compliance with the California Environmental Quality Act. Commissioner Amon?
Yes.
Commissioner Christensen? My bad, apologies. Commissioner Halley?
Yes.
Vice Chair Nichols?
Yes.
Chair Kine?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much and congratulations. And then moving on to our next item of business, which will be current commission business, if there's any new updates.
I have provided everybody with the annual building department report for the year. You guys are getting a preview. This will also be in the next city council packet. It's always just fun to look at all of the work that the building department does. We have 10 new single-family residences and then additional. We have 10 new single-family residences and then other new living units for a total of 37 new housing units. So that's always exciting. And it just kind of gives a breakdown of the different types of permits that we have going on for a small jurisdiction. We are often quite busy with new construction and over-the-counter permits. And then, other news from the Community Development Department, we did just recently release request for proposals for our comprehensive general plan update and our next housing element update, so that's exciting. Those will be open for a month. And we'll be taking proposals from consultants to help guide those documents and that creation. And we'll also be working with the Planning Commission. Once we kick that off, we'll be doing workshops with the community, bringing things to the Planning Commission for approval, bringing things to City Council. So those are going to be very, very exciting. The community will have a chance to guide the future of Fortuna. And lastly, I'm excited to announce that Stephen has coordinated a training you all have been invited to at the end of this month. So we'll be doing some in-person training, and then you folks will have some homework training as well. So I'm excited to get the Planning Commission together outside of a Planning Commission meeting, and we'll all get some good training and have some pizza and learn some new things. So, does anybody have any questions for anything that they might have curiosity about?
Will the training include some of the new Brown Act stuff that Sienna sent us all?
It can, yes.
Okay,
Yes, yeah.
even just a brief overview of
Yes,
it would be
yes.
great.
We'll make a note of that.
Any other comments or questions? No? Okay. Well, then, hearing none, I do want to say congratulations to Vice Chair Amons and Chair Nichols. Congratulations. And this will be my last time getting to do this. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. I need a motion.
So moved.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Seconded?
Second.
All approved?
Aye.
Then I'll get to do it. Thank you. So congrats.